today I'm going to talk to you about types of data. And let's first of all establish where can we collect those or some data from. If we're collecting data from an entire population, such as the population of Australia, we would be collecting data using census. So when you collect data about an entire population, you're taking a census. Or you could take a sample from an entire population. If you're collecting the data yourself, that's what we call primary data. You have ownership on that data. You collected it, it belongs to you, you are the source, it's primary data. So sometimes we can't collect the data ourselves, so we make use of other people's data. If it's data collected from someone else, that's what we call secondary data. And when we're asked to analyze any kind of data, we could analyze it from our own collection or from somebody else's collection. If that data has been taken from an entire population, it's a census. And I believe the census of Australia is happening in August 2021. And that means the entire population will answer a set of questions about number of people in the household, income, work, what they do, religion, and so on and so forth. And then that data will then be collected by the Bureau of Statistics and analysed. We could then access that data, that would be secondary data, and we could have a look at it because I believe it's published on a website. All right, now let's have a look at, once we've got that data, there are different types of data, and it really is important that we work out what kind of data are we looking at so that we can pick the correct graphical representation or organise that data in a table. So let's have a look at the types of data. Types of data, well, there is two main types of data. You're either dealing with categorical data or you're dealing with numerical data. Now these have other names. Sometimes we call this qualitative data, sometimes this is called quantitative data. But we're dealing with data that's in categories, categorical, that doesn't say categorical, sorry, and numerical. So data that's in the form of numbers. Let's just focus on the number data for a moment. There are two types of groups of numerical data that we can collect. If the data is whole numbers, integer numbers, can be counted, we call this discrete data. And pie charts, for example, are a way of representing discrete data, as are bar charts. The other type of numerical data that we could find ourselves looking at is continuous data. And this is data that is measured. For example, if I'm collecting or analysing data to do with people's heights or time is a measurement, or if I'm looking at weight, anything that can be measured is what we call continuous data. And obviously counted is discrete. All right, let's look at categorical data. So let's put things into categories. Well, we could have two types of categorical data. We have ordinal categorical data. Ordinal is where data is placed in some kind of order, or there's an order to the categories, such as t-shirt sizes. When you go to a shop, you might look at the extra small, small, medium, large, extra large. There's an order to the categories. Or they could be distinctly different, which means they are nominal. So nominal data such as yes or no. What kind of pet do you have? A dog, a cat, a bird? They are distinctly different and we would call that nominal. Now categorical data can also be displayed such as pie charts or bar charts. I already mentioned that for discrete data. And you know, that's something that's really important to recognise. So when we look at graphical representation, we look at what graphs are appropriate for what kind of data. But you wouldn't plot a line graph which measures time, for example, along the x-axis, a straight line. You wouldn't do categorical data as a straight line, for example. So it's really important that you pick the correct representation. So we've talked about census and the way that the data is collected. So when it's from the whole population, it's called a census. Otherwise, if you're just taking it from a small sample, then you're surveying those people. All right, I think that's all I want to talk about. So I look forward to my next video.